You didn't stumble onto this by mistake. You were drawn here, and that matters more than you realize. Not everyone finds messages like this. Only those whose minds are already vibrating at a certain frequency. The fact that you're listening now is proof that something inside you has awakened, and the universe is answering back. Think about it. Hasn't life been sending you signals all along? Those unexplainable coincidences. Those perfect timings that made you stop in your tracks. The moments when reality seemed to bend, just enough for you to notice. These weren't accidents. They were whispers from the field, confirming that you're tuned into a channel most people never hear. This isn't random luck. It's recognition. Your consciousness has been quietly refining itself through every challenge, every doubt, every leap of trust you've ever taken. Each time you believed in something you couldn't see, your awareness expanded. And now, you've reached a threshold where that expansion is about to accelerate. Fast. That's why certain words reach you when millions of others scroll by. Your mind has become magnetic to the rare kind of information that activates, not entertains. What you're encountering now isn't distraction. It's alignment. It's a reminder of who you were before the world convinced you to shrink, to doubt, to dismiss the extraordinary as impossible. Here's the truth. You've been living in two worlds at once. There's the ordinary reality, shaped by fear and limitation, where change is slow and miracles are rare. And then there's the reality you've glimpsed, the one where thoughts shape matter, where intention bends outcomes, where the unseen responds to the energy you carry. Most people never leave the first reality. They laugh at the second, calling it fantasy. But you've already walked between them. You've had moments so powerful they left no doubt that consciousness creates. And yes, afterward you may have questioned if it was all in your head. But that was never confusion. That was calibration. You are learning to navigate dimensions of existence that overlap, waiting for you to claim them. The quantum threshold unveiled. Lately, you've probably felt it. That restless pressure inside, like your old skin no longer fits. Transformation always arrives with this discomfort. It's the tension of leaving behind who you once were, while not yet fully stepping into who you're becoming. In that in-between space, life can feel chaotic, unstable, even disorienting. But here's the hidden truth. What feels like chaos is actually order reshaping itself at a higher octave. Imagine water on the edge of becoming steam. For a brief moment, it's neither liquid nor gas. It hovers in a mysterious middle ground. That's where you stand right now, in the quantum threshold, where your old patterns are dissolving so new possibilities can ignite. Your mind, your energy, your very sense of self is being recoded for realities that were impossible under your previous design. And this isn't random. It's intentional. Your higher self, the aspect of you that lives beyond time, has been carefully preparing this moment. Every challenge, every delay, every twist in the path was designed to bring you here, right to the edge of expansion. The pressure you feel isn't urging you to become someone else. It's urging you to stop hiding who you already are. It's the authentic self pressing forward, demanding to breathe, to live, to be expressed without apology. And until you embrace it, the pressure will keep rising, not to punish you, but to push you into alignment. Every tradition, from ancient mystics to modern science, has spoken of this transition in their own language. Buddhists call it awakening. Physicists call it quantum leaps in consciousness. But the essence is the same. The moment you remember that you are not a small human begging for scraps of meaning, you are consciousness itself, momentarily experiencing life through a human form. When that recognition shifts from an idea in your head to a knowing in your bones, everything changes. Not because the universe suddenly favors you, but because you finally begin responding to life as the creative force you've always been. Think back on your so-called setbacks. They weren't mistakes. They were reroutes. The closed doors were protection from smaller destinies. The pauses were integration points. Nothing was wasted. The heartbreak expanded your capacity for love. The failures stripped away illusions about worth. The betrayals drove you deeper into your own inner compass. Each moment carved new channels for awareness that couldn't have opened any other way. This isn't ordinary growth. It's evolution. You've been quietly training to carry more light, more resilience, more truth than your old identity could hold. Every lonely night sharpened your capacity for self-trust. Every uncertainty stretched your tolerance for the unknown. Every time you were forced to draw from hidden strength, you touched the timeless part of you that no circumstance can destroy. And now, here you are, standing at the doorway of a new reality, ready to cross. But this threshold is asking something very specific from you. Embodied knowing versus fragile hoping. What this moment is asking from you is not weak hope, not empty wishing, not blind faith. It's asking for a deeper state, embodied knowing, a kind of certainty that sinks so deeply into your body, it changes the way you carry yourself, the way you enter a room, even the way you whisper to yourself when no one else is listening. This knowing isn't something you need to fabricate. It isn't about forcing belief or repeating empty affirmations. It's something you remember. You knew it once, back when you were a child playing make-believe, and the imaginary worlds felt as real as the ground beneath your feet. In that state, possibility wasn't questioned. It was lived. That consciousness wasn't naive. It was quantum. Children naturally exist in a reality where imagination shapes the physical world. They haven't yet been conditioned to believe that the visible is more real than the invisible. They still trust the intelligence of their intuition, the clarity of their inner sense. Reclaiming this quantum awareness doesn't mean becoming childish. It means evolving beyond the narrow logic of linear thought. It means remembering that you are woven into the same intelligence that moves galaxies, that orchestrates every synchronicity, that breathes life into every unfolding moment. The version of you that already lives in freedom, abundance, and peace isn't far away. They already exist in the field of infinite possibility, broadcasting their frequency constantly. Your task is not to chase them, it's to tune in, to align with that vibration, to embody the truth that the gap between you and them has already collapsed. This isn't fantasy. It's physics applied to consciousness. In quantum theory, particles remain in multiple states until observed. The observer chooses the outcome. And here, you are the observer. Your focus is the force that pulls one possibility into form while leaving the others behind. So what happens when you consistently observe yourself as powerful, whole, and abundant? Reality bends to reflect that observation. The external world begins to mirror the inner stance you hold. But here's the deeper revelation. It's not only you doing the observing, your future self is observing you too. Every inspired thought that flashes through your mind is a signal from that version of you. Every sudden surge of energy is them lending you strength. Every time you catch yourself entertaining possibilities bigger than your current life, that's not fantasy. That's collaboration across time. This isn't science fiction. Consciousness isn't bound by the linear clock. Your future self has already walked the path you're stepping onto. They see the shortcuts, the allies, the opportunities hidden from your present view. They are constantly signaling, nudging, whispering, and when you hold the right frequency, their guidance becomes unmistakable. Frequency is the bridge to manifestation. What you desire is not far away, not hidden by distance, time, or circumstance. The only gap between you and it is frequency. And frequency is something you can shift right now, in this very breath, without forcing a single external condition to change. It begins with one realization. What you are seeking has already been seeking you. The future you dream of has been dreaming of you too. The success you imagine has been calling your name. Why? Because consciousness is not trapped in your brain, it's not locked inside your body. Consciousness is a vast field that permeates everything, and your awareness is like a radio, tuning in to specific bands within that infinite spectrum. When a desire rises in you, it isn't random longing. It's evidence that you've already touched a frequency where that reality exists. Otherwise, you wouldn't even be able to conceive it. The problem is, most people treat desire as if they're dragging something toward them from across the universe. They think they need to hustle, wait, or prove they're worthy before it can arrive. That mindset creates resistance. It assumes separation. It imagines a distance that doesn't exist. The quantum perspective is different. You and your desire live in the same field. You're not summoning it. You're aligning with it. You're not forcing it into being. You're allowing it to emerge. The difference is subtle, but it changes everything. Attraction implies effort, chasing, pulling. Alignment implies recognition, resonance, and flow. When you align with what you want, you realize it was never absent. The separation was only an illusion created by tuning to the wrong signal. Like a song that's been playing in the background all along. You only had to adjust the dial to hear it clearly. This is why manifestation sometimes feels instant. It's not that the universe suddenly scrambles to deliver. It's that you finally shifted your frequency to the reality where it was already waiting. Manifestation doesn't measure time. It measures alignment. And alignment can happen in a flash, the moment you understand the mechanics. But here's where many people stumble. They act like their dreams are jobs they need to qualify for. They wait for approval, for proof of worthiness, for the right time. But what if the very fact that you can see it in your mind, feel it in your heart, and imagine it with such clarity means it's already part of your inheritance? What if desire itself is the universe confirming what's already yours in the quantum field? This is what I call your quantum inheritance. Your imagination isn't a toy, a fantasy machine, or wishful daydreaming. It's an organ of perception, designed to glimpse realities that already exist beyond your current state. When you imagine vividly, when you feel something as though it's real, you're not making it up. You're tuning into a reality that's alive, in potential form. Think about how ideas work. Inventions, breakthroughs, art, they often appear to multiple people at the same time, across the world, without contact. That's not coincidence, it's the field broadcasting possibilities, waiting for receivers tuned to the right frequency. Imagination is how higher dimensional knowledge slips into human consciousness, one signal at a time. So when you see a vision of your future of abundance, of freedom, of miracles, it's not delusion. It's not too much. It's not unrealistic. It's the quantum field showing you what's already coded into your existence. The only question is, will you match the frequency long enough to experience it as real? Worthiness has nothing to do with earning or proving. It's not granted by society or withheld by fate. Worthiness is built into your very being. The fact that you exist is evidence enough that you're already entitled to the expansion your soul longs for. So stop shrinking your visions. Stop apologizing for wanting more. You are not asking for too much. You're asking for the truth. And every cell in you already recognizes it. The process of consciousness metamorphosis. You've walked through fire lately, haven't you? The pressure, the uncertainty, the nights when everything you thought you knew about yourself was pulled into question. Some people may have dismissed you, overlooked you, or made you feel as though your dreams were too ambitious. But every struggle, every doubt, every silent battle was chiseling something unshakable inside you. You've been training in a kind of cosmic gymnasium, building spiritual strength you didn't even realize you were cultivating. But let's look deeper at what was really happening. Those difficult seasons weren't random punishments. They were initiations. Each challenge was carefully designed to awaken capacities you'll need for the life you're stepping into. What felt like loss was really preparation. What looked like breakdown was reorganization. Think of the caterpillar sealed inside its cocoon. From the outside, it appears to dissolve into nothing. But in truth, its entire being is reorganizing matter, energy, and consciousness until it emerges as a creature capable of flight. The caterpillar's crawling awareness gives way to the butterfly's soaring awareness. That's exactly what has been happening within you. This isn't just growth, it's metamorphosis. The parts of your identity shaped by struggle, scarcity, and the belief that you must work endlessly for scraps of reward. Those layers have been dissolving. A new operating system has been quietly installing itself, one that is designed not for survival, but for expansion. This is why old strategies stopped working, why methods that once felt reliable suddenly became exhausting, why relationships that once seemed safe began to feel confining. You weren't failing. You were evolving beyond the structures that could no longer contain your expanded consciousness. The isolation many feel during this awakening isn't rejection, it's resonance shifting. As your frequency rises, the people and environments aligned with lower vibrations naturally fall away. It isn't loss, it's recalibration. And what emerges in their place are connections rooted in resonance rather than need, in shared growth rather than dependency, in purpose rather than limitation. You already sense the difference. What once triggered you barely stirs your energy. What once consumed you with worry now feels almost irrelevant. This is the flowering of what quantum physicists call the observer effect, the power to influence outcomes by the lens through which you perceive them. Your attention has become a force field. Your expectation has become magnetic, but this is more than emotional resilience. You're stepping into capacities that most would call extraordinary. You're beginning to notice patterns others miss, to sense subtle energies others can't feel, to know things without needing proof, and to shape outcomes not through force, but through the quiet power of your presence. Yet here's the key. You can't wait for validation before you start embodying this. You can't wait for others to see it before you move as if it's real. The universe doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to who you are. And who you are is determined by the story you hold about yourself right now. You are not here to shrink any longer. Playing small was a survival tool for an earlier stage of your journey. But you've outgrown that. The rooms you're meant to enter, the conversations you're meant to hold, the impact you're destined to make. They require the fullness of who you are. There's a part of you that already knows this. It doesn't doubt, doesn't hesitate, doesn't need proof. It carries quantum certainty because it exists beyond time. It sees the entire path from beginning to end and knows that every step between is only the unveiling of what has always been true. This isn't your personality or your ego. It's not your fleeting thoughts or conditioned beliefs. This is your essential awareness, the consciousness that existed before your identity was formed and will remain long after it dissolves. It is inseparable from the intelligence that spins galaxies, stirs oceans, and orchestrates the perfect rhythm of the natural world. When you anchor yourself in this awareness, you no longer chase answers with your mind. You know directly through perception. You no longer crave external approval. You lean into an inner authority that is unshakable. You no longer doubt your path. You feel its alignment before you take the step. Consciousness as reality's blueprint. This isn't fantasy. It's the natural operation of consciousness, once it's freed from the conditioning that taught you to distrust your perceptions, doubt your instincts, and chase external answers that can only be found within. From indigenous wisdom keepers, to Buddhist monks, to quantum physicists, the message is the same. Consciousness is primary. Individual awareness is capable of tapping into the infinite intelligence that holds all of existence together. Your rational mind is brilliant for analysis and organization, but it was never meant to be the captain of your journey. It cannot see the web of interconnection across infinite timelines. That guidance comes from a different source: intuition, direct knowing, the inner yes that rises before the mind can argue it away. When you trust that subtle voice, you collapse thousands of probabilities into the path that serves your highest unfolding. When you act from certainty instead of fear, you send a broadcast that rearranges reality around you. This isn't theory. It's applied quantum mechanics. The voice of true certainty doesn't speak in analysis. It speaks in energy, in resonance, in sudden flashes of clarity that bypass thought. It whispers yes before logic lists its doubts. It urges now even when circumstances look unready. It points this way even when the road ahead is hidden. Sometimes awakening feels explosive, sudden breakthroughs that rewrite your life in a moment. More often, it feels like a steady becoming, subtle, irreversible shifts in how you show up, how you choose, how you meet life. You're becoming someone who doesn't need the world to change before feeling worthy. Someone who generates their own security, their own trust, their own clarity. The next step forward isn't about solving everything in advance. It's about walking into the unknown with trust, even when no staircase is visible. Clarity doesn't come from overthinking. It comes from moving toward what feels most alive, most authentic, most aligned with the truth you've been carrying all along. You're not foolish for expecting more. You're not unrealistic for believing in miracles. You're tuning into frequencies that already exist within the quantum field. You're not an observer on the sidelines of this global awakening. You are part of it. You are one of the nodes carrying this new frequency into the world. Your personal transformation is a vital piece of the collective upgrade in human consciousness that is underway. Systems of scarcity, separation, and control are collapsing because they cannot hold in higher frequencies. Old patterns are breaking, old lies are dissolving, and new possibilities are opening. What you're feeling inside mirrors what's happening across the planet. And your role isn't to convince anyone or rescue those who aren't ready. Your role is to embody the new frequency so fully that your presence becomes a living transmission. When people encounter you, they should feel lighter, more alive, more connected to themselves. Not because you're teaching, but because your resonance awakens their own. This is how consciousness evolution truly spreads, not by persuasion, but by coherence. When enough individuals stabilize a higher vibration, it becomes available to the entire collective. By embodying your frequency, you are not just reshaping your life, you are tilting the field for generations after you. Every thought you think is carving new neural pathways. Every emotion you allow is reshaping your electromagnetic field. Every word you speak is programming your subconscious. This isn't just personal growth, it's reality engineering. You are rebuilding your life from the quantum level upward. Take a moment right now and affirm with your whole being. I am ready to receive what has always been mine. Speak it like a declaration, like a signal to the universe that the era of playing small is over. This isn't just a phrase, it's a recalibration. It's you stepping into alignment with the version of yourself that already exists in the field of infinite possibility. And what does that mean in practice? It means you start expecting success instead of preparing for disappointment. It means you speak to yourself with respect and reverence. It means you make decisions not from the weight of your past, but from the vision of your future. Because the universe is listening. Every thought is a signal. Every feeling is a frequency. Every action is a vote for the reality you want to inhabit. Most people broadcast unconsciously, sending out static that creates mixed results. But you are learning to broadcast with intention, to align your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions into coherence. And coherence is the most powerful creative force there is. It's why particles behave differently under observation. It's why focused intention alters the shape of water crystals. It's why your unwavering attention can literally rewrite the fabric of your reality. If these words are resonating with you, pause for a moment. Like this video and subscribe to the channel. Not for vanity metrics, but because every time you engage, you help these principles of quantum consciousness reach the people who are searching for them, often without even realizing it. But here's the truth. Coherence can't be faked. You can't trick your nervous system into believing what it knows isn't real. You can't chant affirmations while your body vibrates with doubt and expect alignment. That's why affirmations sometimes feel hollow, and visualizations sometimes feel like fantasy. Without full-body agreement, you don't create coherence. You create inner conflict. Coherence isn't about convincing yourself into belief. It's about uncovering a truth so deep that doubt dissolves on its own. It's about tuning into the level of reality where what you desire and who you are meet as one. At that frequency, desire is not born from lack. It rises from essence. This is the difference between those who manifest with ease and those who struggle for years. It's not about more knowledge or better methods. It's about alignment that runs through every layer of being. When mind, heart, body, and spirit all hum the same note, reality has no choice but to play that song back to you. And coherence doesn't come from force. It comes from honesty. Instead of asking, how do I force myself to want this enough? Ask, what do I want so naturally, so authentically, that every cell in me whispers yes? That's when manifestation stops feeling like work and begins to feel like expression. You stop creating something new. You allow what has always been trying to flow through you. Real transformation happens when your entire being votes yes, when your thoughts can see it, your heart can feel it, your body can sense it, and your soul recognizes it as home. That's when miracles stop being rare events and start becoming the rhythm of your life. So let me ask you, what belief, pattern, or story are you ready to release in order to step into that coherence. Drop it in the comments, not just as engagement, but as an energetic declaration. The act of naming it begins to loosen its hold. If this message feels less like new information and more like remembering something you've always known, then I invite you not just to subscribe to this channel, but to subscribe to this frequency. Join the movement of people who are finished playing small, finished waiting for permission, finished pretending to be less than what they truly are. You've been preparing for this moment your whole life. Every heartbreak that cracked you open, every setback that rerouted you, every challenge that stretched you into capacities you didn't know you had. All of it was training you to hold the magnitude of what's arriving now. The waiting is over, not because the world has suddenly aligned, but because you have. Not because you finally earned it, but because you've remembered worthiness was never in question. You belong here, in this frequency, in this reality, in this moment where who you are and what you want are not separate. But belonging requires embodiment. It asks you to walk as if you know your value, to speak as if your voice carries weight, to choose as if your instincts are sacred. This way of showing up creates ripples. Your authenticity awakens authenticity in others. Your courage gives others permission to rise. Your refusal to settle shows others that miracles aren't exceptions. They are possibilities waiting to be claimed. And this is how reality works. The universe doesn't test you for worthiness. It mirrors you. It reflects the frequency you broadcast most consistently. Change your being, and you change the reflection. So what frequency are you embodying right now as these words land? Are you embodying the one who doubts or the one who trusts? The one who waits or the one who knows? Because reality responds not to what you say you want, but to who you consistently choose to be. When you embody expectation, the universe responds in kind. Miracles stop feeling like rare gifts and start showing up as natural consequences of your alignment. Synchronicities unfold not as luck, but as proof that you've tuned into the right signal. And yes, some realities take time to condense into form. But delays are not denials. You are not behind, not too late, not unworthy. You are exactly where you need to be for what is already yours to meet you. Possibility becomes reality through action, through speaking as one who knows, through choosing as one who trusts, through walking as one who has already arrived. Let go of the timeline your mind created. Things are not collapsing, they are rearranging. You weren't guided here by chance. This is your doorway, your activation, your reminder of what you've always carried. You are the miracle you've been waiting for. You are the answer you've been seeking. You are the shift the world is craving. So let's anchor it together. Drop a single word in the comments. The energy you're choosing to embody moving forward. One word that becomes your signal to the field, your declaration to the universe, your signature vibration from this moment on. The collective shift in consciousness. If you feel called to remain in this frequency, if you're ready to walk alongside others who are living at this level of awareness, then subscribe. Not just for updates, but as a way of keeping yourself anchored, coherent, and aligned with the version of reality where your dreams are not fantasies, but instructions. Where your visions are not illusions, but reminders of eternal truths. The more of us who embody this vibration, who move through the world as though miracles are natural, who treat the extraordinary as inevitable, the faster the collective field reorganizes to reflect it back. Your individual alignment is not just personal, it is planetary. Every breakthrough you embody becomes a gift to those around you. Consider returning to this message each morning, letting it set your frequency before the noise of the day begins. Or share it with someone who's ready to awaken to their own power. Every act of sharing isn't just digital engagement, it's energetic ripple-making. It strengthens your own alignment and accelerates the awakening of those you touch. The waiting period is complete. The season of preparation is done. The shift doesn't begin tomorrow, or when the stars align, or when you finally feel ready. The shift is happening now. With each breath, each decision, each moment of remembrance, you are stepping into it. Walk differently. Think differently. Speak differently. Not because you're trying to become something new, but because you're finally letting your true self take the lead. The frequency has shifted. The timeline is accelerating. Possibilities are multiplying. And from here forward, nothing will ever look the same again. If you're ready to go deeper, watch The Observer's Breath, How to Change Reality from Within. In it, you'll discover a simple yet powerful breathing practice that awakens your observer power, the force that collapses infinite possibilities into the reality you choose.